Hello to another video. Um, so today I wanted to go through something about benefits and mental health issues and stuff like that, bunking a little bit of disinformation, and I want to try to appeal this to conservatives as well, and how conservatives should be looking at things like benefits and and things like that. And when it comes to benefits, conservatives should, like proper, real conservatives, civilians, should really care about the government, doing more stuff to help the community and the most vulnerable people in the community. And it's not very conservative when you don't really care about the most vulnerable people in society. I'm pretty sure within Christianity, it's like there's stuff like helping your neighbor, even helping to love your enemies type thing. Um, so, you know, improving benefit systems and getting the government to do more to help vulnerable communities is actually, vitally important. And, this comes into, if you care about, family values, which is meant to be a conservative value. And, other, or they're conservatives that don't really seem to even represent these type of values and don't really care about improving people's lives and the vulnerable people in society, or helping you as a parent that might have mental health issues, or your children that might have mental health issues. So right then, the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change came out, um, with this thing about what they want to do with Ben, which is just basically just cutting it. Um, Another thing I forgot with conservatism, it's meant to be about community and bringing people together. That's something the conservatives are meant to be about. And I was even looking up some stuff about socialism the other day, and one of the original groups that came up with something about community-based, like society working together and pitching in and working together, I think were like Christians or right-wing or religious people, right? Were one of the first people that actually, like, there's many different groups, but advocated for this type of community-based, like, type togetherness. So, we should both progressives and conservatives should be actually coming together to actually advocate for the government to do more to help the vulnerable people in society, instead of, even sometimes demonizing them by portraying them as a bunch of scroungers and things like that. But anyway, going back to the Tony Blair, fake institute for not really global change. Um, it's kind of like this Orwellian, like double reverse, or what I call like reverse speak or warp speak. And um, they're talking about why, and in this part I'm about to read, they're basically talking about going into public opinion. And the problem with public opinion is you're not really talking to like academics or intellectuals that actually always have like expertise when it comes to like academic and governmental and policy type things. So going to the public, it's like a deception that some bad faith actors online do. Um, and they're going with this like opinion, and it's their opinion, and mainly it's they and I think they do go into it about in this bogus thing that they released, and it's basically their opinion where what's to say I want to say we believe, even though it doesn't quite say that, but they're basically saying we believe that some of the conditions currently recognized by the system do not in practice limit people's ability to work. And, they were talking about mental health issues in these particular segments. And the thing is that with mental health issues, there are a lot of mental health issues. ADHD can affect your attitude to work. OCPD, that I in fact have, can affect your aptitude and your aptitude, but like ability to work, and your attitude towards working and things like that. And I've gone into this before, where it shouldn't just be about focusing about making people into work slaves and like forcing them to work when they're not capable. It should be actually about finding what's best for the individual. Each according to their need, each according to their ability, which is just common sense. And they're basically just spreading blatant lies here through the guise of public opinion, but it's actually their opinion. And this is almost kind of like, there's worse examples in this, but this is practically like demonization of like some of the most vulnerable people in society. And like conservatives should care about mental health, obviously, which you do, obviously, because it's going to affect. It's going to come into conservative values like family values, personal responsibility, and even like it comes into law and order and like preventing crime. The more we understand psychology, the more we can understand the human condition and human behaviors, help understand why people do these things, and to help teach and to help improve people's mental health and improve people's material conditions to actually, prevent crime. And conservatives should really care about this stuff. So, and their basic solution to all this stuff is just to basically cut benefits to serve rich people in society rather than searching the good. And so anyway, so yeah. So I wanted to go into, okay, let me little bit break a second. I might have a 30-second gap talking. I might, whatever. What was I going to say going to next? So this goes into how I think the government, and this could be something even the left, well, not even getting wrong, but like things that the left is missing. And what I think the government should be getting involved with mental health. And this comes into my video not long before, maybe a week before uploading this one. Oh, I can't remember what that video was. What was that video? Oh, either or fallacy. So it's not a matter of like having the government or having the parents. It's about you do both. You do both the government and the parents. And when it comes to problem solving, you want to attack the problem by using as many different solutions as possible, attacking the problem from as many different angles as possible at the same time. So we should have the government doing stuff, the states, the counties doing stuff, the families doing stuff, and then the individual doing stuff. And one of the things that we need to do in society a lot as well is we need to drastically improve people's ability to communicate and to have conversations. And, that's something you can get mental health support for and therapies for to actually improve people's... Yeah, you can actually get therapy for that to actually... I don't want to be doing that in a political video. Not very good. Sorry for the distraction. I apologize. But yeah, we should be attacking these problems from as many different angles and solutions as we possibly can do. So I think the government shouldn't just be focusing on work. They should be they should be focusing on figuring out what's best for the individual. Each according to their need, each according to their ability. And if you can get people to work, yes, that's good. But also, you want to do other things as well. And what you could do is they should do this first, this next part, and then try to push people more into work. And they should try to push people into different therapies, into different mental health support. And one of the things I think they should do, and they kind of already do this, and they did this for me, and I did some stuff through one of these work programs called Work Togetherness Forever for Everyone. Not called that, because I don't want to name stuff like that in the video. But they did send me on like confidence building courses, which that in itself can help with communication. And they sent me on like art and well-being courses. And they were very, very good courses, and they did actually help my mental health. They did help me with communication problems. And, so that's what people should do. Like, when I was signed off the sick, which I've been on for a while, so I'm not really making money apart from, the stuff that I get from benefits and things like that. And that's not creating bias in the situation. Actually, it's actually creating a little bit of expertise and personal experience and actual, understanding of things. And when I was put on the sick, they basically just abandoned me. And I think this was during the time of the Tories as well in the UK. And they just basically abandoned, and they just left me to my own devices. And after a while, when I started to wanting to reach out to the government and different programs to try and get help, my mental health got worse because I was isolated in the home too much. And I could have done with being put back on one of these work programs. Not necessarily to find, well, actually, like I said, they should focus on helping them with my mental health first. Once they help me with my mental health first, then push me into work employment. So they should try put me on courses for like a year, like up to a year, maybe 2, and then after that course, depending on how well it goes, or the therapies or whatever, depends on what they decide to do with me. And if they could try to put me on work, and one of the things that they could do work exposure therapy, and they can get people to go into work bit by bit and increase it gradually. So you start off by getting people to do an hour a day for 2 days a week, and let's go with like hours. So they could start off with 2 hours a week, then they could go up to 4 hours, then 7 hours and 8 hours. And then as you go in, you could find what the mental health person is able to do. Like I tried working 30 hours, then it was put down to 16 hours, and I was still struggling, and I was put on antidepressants the first time. The first time and then the first week I was on a placement, and it was a placement I didn't really like. And that's the problem with just putting and forcing people into work straight away. But the government should put people on programs instead of abandoning them. And even if they're not unfit to work, every, maybe I'm thinking in the summer, they could do like a 6 month course for these people. Like every month, like I just said, every year for 6 months during the summertime, every year, put people on these works/mental health programs through these mental health work program organizations and groups, and basically re-put them through all the courses, the confidence building, the communication building, you could actually do like get them to do like learn academic stuff, philosophy, critical thinking, media literacy, which will all help with stuff. Teach them a little bit of media training. Get them into acting. I don't know. But anyway, they should re-put people like me and people on benefits back on these work programs every year for six months during the summer, because summer is when people will be more likely to want to go out rather than in the rain in the winter and stuff like that. So how could you fund this? Now, today I wanted to go into voluntary tax. And the government should reach out to like billionaires, millionaires, like massive companies, and to try and like coerce them into giving money into voluntary tax. And when they give money into voluntary tax, which would be they still get taxed normally, right? But they'll have an option to give extra voluntary tax, which is what I call voluntary tax, and basically inspire them to willingly pay more in taxes, and then that money can go into funding these programs for people like every year. I don't know whether cutting benefits is good, and that's what. So anyway, so yeah, so that's my kind of like voluntary tax system, how to find the taxation and the money and the funding for this stuff. Yeah, so that's that segment. So anyway, there's two channels that I want to recommend you go to, and they cover this stuff in more detail. And and this could be a thing that the left could do more, is try to appeal conservatives more and put in their videos. You got No Justice. I think it's like at No Justice MTG, and you got Richard J. Murphy. And both those channels go into this Tony Blair thing and go into a lot of different facts and what works, what doesn't work, and actually propose actual solutions that everybody in society, every group, every leftist, every progressive, every conservative, every Christian, every Indian, every person should be wanting this stuff and wanting to take this stuff seriously. It's conservative, it's progressive, and this stuff could revolutionize mental health treatment and government support, and even a little bit of idea of how to revolutionize taxation. But anyway, thanks for the video. I really, really, really appreciate your time. Tune in for more philosophy, politics, political philosophy, mental health theory, and more what Christian values are, what they should be, and what Christians and everybody should care about. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. And if you can, there's also a new hype feature. Hype this video if you can. I appreciate it. Send to your friends. Share. It's important. This stuff is life-changing, world-changing. Thank you very, very much for listening. I appreciate your time. Love you all. Goodbye. 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 See you again. See you later.